Hello, and thank you everyone for joining us. This is Buds and Suds, the awesome show where we love to talk about beer and anything to do with beer. I am Grant, here with my other co-hosts, Peter,
Hey.
Kevin,
Hey.
and Nick.
Hola.
Today, Today we're going to be talking about 3 different beers. Tell you what we think about them, pros and cons, as well as some other stuff about beer. Nick, where can our followers follow us more?
So you can follow us and see what's going on our show on our Twitter account, _Buds&Suds. Also on Instagram and Vine and Periscope at _Buds&Suds. And if you have any questions, you can email us at budsandsuds2016@gmail.com.
Cool. Swing away, Meryl.
Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and ask us questions.
Yes, we want to hear them. I forgot to grab it. Let's go around and talk about the last beers we had. Peter, what about you?
Last beer I had was today. I had a Joe IPA. I'm pretty sure I've talked about this before, possibly, don't remember. But
10 barrel.
Yeah, 10 barrel. Nice little light IPA. Good variant of their Apocalypse. Little known fact: I resent this beer because it removed one of my all-time favorite beers, OG, and it just hurts for me to drink it and have to drink it. But it was a good beer. Good post-race beer.
Sounds like it was really hard for you to drink.
It was awful. I had 3 of them.
It's the worst. Kevin, what about you?
The last beer I had was called Matilda by Goose Island Brewing Company in Chicago, Illinois.
Chicago, Chi-Town.
Chi-Town.
Is it Chi-Town or Chi-Town?
I think it's Chi-Town.
Chai.
Chai is
Chai.
that's Oprah's house is Chi-Town.
Really emphasizing the I.
Chicago?
Yep, that's it.
Did you like it though?
Yeah, it was a really good beer, actually. It was a Belgian beer, and it was very delicious.
It's a Belgium beer from
Chicago. Yep.
Never would have thought. All right.
Yep.
That's weird. Okay. Nick, what about you?
I had the Modern Times Fruitlands beer with apricot.
That sounds good.
Yeah, it's pretty
Did
good.
it make you
It's
gassy?
only like 20, the IBU's 20, and it's about 5%. But it's good.
What kind of beer was it?
A
It's
Gose? How do you, G-O?
I think it's Goes.
What does that mean?
I think it's just a style of beer.
It was definitely like a fruity beer.
Is it French?
Was it kind of a yellowy color?
Yeah.
How wet was it? Was it like wet? Like liquid?
Was there alcohol in it?
I mean, it wasn't dry.
That's good.
Don't confuse the man.
I drank it.
All right. My latest beers I had is a dual threat. I got the Alameda Black Bear Double X Stout.
I'm sorry. What was the brewery?
Is it Alameda? Is that how you say it?
Sure, we'll run with that.
Yeah, why don't we call it that?
Out of Portland. You guys haven't heard of them?
Did you say
No,
Alameda?
I've heard of them. I've never heard of
Alameda?
Alameda, but I've heard of them.
What? I'm really confused by it. Whatever. All right, and then New Belgium. Psychedelic.
I've seen that. Was that one good?
I liked it a lot. It's definitely a summery beer.
Thanks.
Good.
It looked
Definitely
good.
check it out.
You guys know what
And
Trader
Alameda. Anyways. What are we drinking today, guys?
The 3 beers that we're going to try is the Serpent Stout by the Lost Abbey, and then we're going to follow it up with Latitude 33 Brewing Blood Orange IPA, and then finally we'll finish it off with Garage Brewing Company Marshmallow Milk Stout. So let's go ahead and jump into the Serpent Stout, and you guys can pop the top, and I will tell you a little bit about it.
Hey guys, just want to let you know we got a special guest here, our good bud John. He's going to be tasting the beers with us and giving his opinion. So, give him a warm welcome. Hi. Thanks, Peter.
Hi.
Thanks, Sean. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining, John.
Yeah, hey, thanks for having me. This is a pretty good time. I've watched you guys' videos online a couple times now. I think you guys, is this 5 or 6?
6.
This is 6.
This is 6.
So first up, obviously, we're going with the Serpent Stout by Lost Abbey, brewed in San Marco, California. It's an imperial stout, 11% alcohol by volume, 55 IBU, an original gravity of 1.072, and they started brewing and or bottling in 2013. So let's go ahead and try these. This comes.
I just want to say, I'm glad Lost Abbey's been around for about 3 years and they haven't lost their way.
Yeah, that's good. So the neat thing about Port Brewing Company and the Lost Abbey are very closely connected. Basically, American West Coast style beers are packaged in 22-ounce bottles by Port Brewing Company, but the Belgian-inspired premium beers are packaged in this nice corked 375 milliliter, or they even have 750 milliliter corked bottles, and that's released under the Lost Abbey, which is what we're trying today. So that's kind of a neat deal.
Little fun fact, Lost Abbey, their brewery is Stone's old original brewery.
Oh, cool.
They bought it
Ah,
Stone. And they have no chairs in
well,
the standing room. It's only standing room. Can't.
as far as color gets going, I'm getting like black licorice.
I think, yeah, this is like dark as the night.
This is probably the thickest beer we've had on the show.
Yeah, that stuff poured like it's molasses.
And this is probably the first beer that we've had that doesn't have like a creamy head. This is kind of just a coffee-colored mocha kind of head.
Yeah, it's all one. I mean, when Graham was pouring his beer, it kind of just blended into one thing.
Yeah, it almost looked like a Guinness. I mean, it's a stout, I guess, yeah. But
It's not overwhelming. The flavor is
No,
subtle.
it's very rich in malts on the nose, and then there's a lot of dark chocolate with it, or just chocolate.
it's a little sweet, but not.
Yeah, I guess that's more dark chocolate, and then definitely some coffee notes from the burnt malts.
I don't want to outstep my boundaries here, but is there some sort of like champagne yeast or something in it? Because it's a little like tangy or almost like sour.
It's a little spicy.
Guys, this is like.
Yeah.
Are you getting that, Kev?
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
There's a little like vanilla, but I think that spice you're getting is kind of from the alcohol.
Yeah.
Another interesting. I mean, most of the beers we've had have left some sort of.
What do you?
Hannah just tried it.
What'd she say?
Not a fan. Doesn't like stouts.
I think it's actually surprisingly you don't get the 11% from it. I mean, you get a little bit of the alcohol, but it's not.
It's not easy, though.
Yeah. It's like, compared to Arrogant Bastard, you can't really. It doesn't hit you with it. Like it's really subtle.
For how dark and thick as far as the color goes, it's not, the texture isn't as thick as I thought it'd be.
Yeah, and there's plenty of kind of chocolate, coffee, vanilla going into this that it covers. The mouthfeel is very heavy, and it's a heavy beer, but it's very well balanced that you don't even notice the alcohol. I would be curious to see how well this beer ages, and see if those notes mellow out even more and blend in better with the malts in a year or two.
Mm.
I've actually had this beer at at room or at cold, like off the draft. Is that right? Off the draft, off the tap.
Out of the tap.
Yeah.
And I'm having it at room temperature now, but I think I like it better at room temperature.
Interesting. No, I'm not getting any caramel. I mean, it's mostly. I want to say it's tart.
It's almost
Very. It's like baker's chocolate.
Yeah, and I wonder if that's kind of the thing that John was talking about, where he kind of had a bitterness there, and I wonder if it's kind of a bitter cocoa chocolate that's coming through.
Yeah, like more like the baker's chocolate, where it's not overly sweet because obviously it's already all the notes in there.
But it's not. You take a bite out of a chunk of baker's chocolate.
Bring away,
But, I
Meryl.
mean, it's definitely like when you take a bite of baker's chocolate, it's really overwhelming in your mouth and it has zero sweetness. But like Grant was saying, like the front end of it, when you first start, it's got a sweet note to it. But the more you drink it, the less that is apparent. And I wonder how that's going to affect the other two beers that we have, because I know they're both going to be fairly sweet. Oh, the milk stout will.
Yeah, I think the blood orange is more sweet than the milk stout.
Oh, interesting. Okay, well,
I'm
excited
actually,
to try them.
the more I drink this and sniff it, I'm kind of getting, it's kind of weird, but I'm kind of getting a barbecue or smokiness or something.
There could be coming from the malts a little. You might get a little smoky out of that. They're pretty dark roast, but it's definitely not a smoke flavor at all.
No, I don't know. It's just kind of reminding.
I can see it. I mean,
It's a complex beer.
they're definitely roasted. Some rich roasting there.
And I like how the head sticks around. I mean, I'm moving it around quite a bit, and that there's always a layer of head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say on my end, I'm getting a lot of bitter, a little bit more bitter notes than anything else. I mean, it's not sour, but it's not. I don't know. It's kind of. I don't know. I don't know how to explain that, CJ.
Lost Abbey likes to get pretty complicated with their.
Yeah,
A lot of their beers are barrel aged.
I saw that. Yeah.
I'm picking it. Maybe that's where you're getting it from, Grant.
Yeah,
What kind
Is
of
this
barrels do
barrel
they
aged?
use?
I'm pretty sure this is barrel aged. I think the majority of their beers are barrel aged.
I'd assume with the fancy bottling technique, it probably is.
Yeah, their tasting room. When you go into their tasting room, you can go into their barrel room and see all the barrels, and they'll have the dates and what beers they are. And cool little spot. They got some pretty crazy beers though. They have a few beers that are near 20%.
You can smell it in the cork.
Does anybody else have anything to pull from this beer that we haven't said already?
Just I like it. It's definitely good. I don't know if I can drink a full bottle of it. I don't know how Peter and Nick are going to drink a full bottle of it. Kudos to you for pulling it off, though.
Yeah.
It's just a heavy beer. It's a strong one. It's good though.
I'm almost done with the whole bottle.
So Peter, do you have a second name for this beer?
I've been thinking about that and going with the theme on the front and the theme on the back. I'm going to stick with the religious-esque theme, and I'm going to go Fire and Brimstone for this one. It's not. I mean, it has a big charcoaly flavor, like you said, with the barrel aging of it, but it also has a really fiery aspect with the 10% alcohol by volume, so 11% alcohol by volume. So I'm gonna go with Fire and Brimstone.
All right, that's good. Kevin, you got any food pairings?
No. So for a food pairing for this beer, I'm actually going to go kind of like to like with this. Typically, I like to pair opposites so you bring out the full flavor. But this one, I think, is going to deserve something similar. So something kind of sweet and chocolatey that's going to be heavy. And for that case, I'm going to go with a tiramisu. I think that would pair nice, and the coffee notes in there would pair well with the coffee notes in the beer, and the sweetness from that might help balance out actually a little bit with kind of the more malty roasty flavor.
So, Kev, would you go with this smaller snifter style glass, or would you like something just to correspond with like the delicacy of tiramisu, or would you go like a full pint?
Well, this beer being 11%, if you bought it at a restaurant, you would have to go with a snifter because of regulations usually. So you would probably only get 6 to 8 ounces of this, and I think that would be more than enough for a dessert.
Yeah.
So you drink 6 to 8% instead of 1 pint and 9.4 ounces.
Yeah, well, yeah, 6 to 8 ounces. Yeah.
So, Kevin, since you're on the topic of the alcohol by volume, like I know you and I have talked in the past of how you make a higher percentage alcohol on a beer that you would like freeze and whatever, like different techniques. How do they make this so high?
Well, this isn't so. The one that we talked about with freezing is kind of the cheating way to keep a beer light while increasing alcohol content. This one, they just probably pounded it with hops. As I said, the original gravity of the beer is somewhere around 1.072, which is pretty high. And so they were able to ferment that all the way down, and all that sugar became alcohol. And so
alcohol.
Yeah, and so that's probably the easiest way to do it naturally. You just have to have a kind of a higher gravity strain that can handle more sugars up front and the alcohol that it produces.
Okay, thank you. All right, Grant, where would you drink this beer?
This is a strong beer, which needs a strong environment. So I'm going to imagine being a blacksmith in a foundry, right? Forging some metal.
Forging?
Yeah, sparks flying everywhere.
Foraging.
Forging or foraging.
Huh? Not foraging.
Forging.
What? Forging.
You're
What
forging.
I say? Forging. Yeah, forging. You know what I mean. Big bushy beard, leather apron.
So you said you're forging metal. Are you actually creating something, or are you just doing it to get some anger out?
Both.
Well, what are you making when you're drinking this beer?
Bottle.
But this is corn.
No. You're making the rings for the barrel, so you're going to brew more of this.
Ooh, I like that.
Oh.
I like it.
Or age it, not necessarily brew it.
Okay, good.
All right, so normally this is where we go to Nick with our spirit animal, but I'm going to let him explain the caveat to this episode.
So, for our viewers out there, if you want the privilege of seeing my great pieces of artwork, you're going to have to go over to our Instagram page and check out my spirit animals for this week. No spirit animals for you.
All right, so next up, we're going to go with the Blood Orange IPA by Latitude 33 from Vista, California. It's an American IPA, Indian Pale Ale, for those of you wondering what IPA stands for. 7.2% alcohol by volume, IBU of actually only 61, which seems a bit low for an IPA, but actually that's pretty spot on. It should be a good taste of a little bit of flavor there with the blood orange in it. So we'll see how much that citrus comes out.
I'm glad CJ caught what I opened my bottle with.
Oh, wow.
Wait, you opened it with pills? Oh my goodness.
This is what I opened my beer with.
Use this. Amateur.
It almost tastes like the rind.
Go Beavs.
All right, let's see what we got here.
Definitely, you get citrus right off the bat.
Oh, jeez.
Right off the bat.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
It's like I bit into an orange.
Yeah.
Unpeeled. That's like all
it's-
rind. That's really
You know what?
good.
It's like I'm zesting an orange for like a oriental dish.
That's really good.
Holy crap.
That's how you do it, Nick, just so you know.
Hey.
Impressive.
You did. Yeah, one of my favorite beers.
It smells really good.
The
Kind
fair,
of a bigger bubbles on the head. It's still pretty carbonated, clearly, because the head has not going away, and I'd call it a white. I'd call it a spring snow white.
Interesting.
It's actually kind of a cloudy beer as well.
my
Yeah, it is.
my
So what do you call it? A golden hue?
I don't know if I'd call that golden. It's a little more honey for me.
Yeah, I'd say honey.
Yeah, honey. That's a good
But I agree with the haziness. You can't really see through it too much.
CJ mentioned that it's unfiltered.
Is that beer unfiltered?
This CJ guy, he's on point.
Dude, CJ's a champ.
Person.
I'm liking it.
Nick, do you know if this is unfiltered?
no idea.
I don't know. I mean, I would assume it's unfiltered just because it's kind of a
CJ said
microbrew.
it was.
Most are, unless you're going for a lot of clarity.
Scooter.
But
Hey,
Half is for?
we don't discriminate on Buds and Suds. We
That's
welcome
good.
all.
Yeah, we had gay bears on there last episode.
Don't make this out like it's news. You guys know.
Head to episode 5 if you want to find out what the hell Grant's talking about.
do you want to know more about gay bears?
But Nick, in your defense, that is a term that I've seen as well. It's like a power bottom or something.
Yeah. Gay bears, man.
And the Lost Abbey is hitting us all.
So back
It's
to the
smooth.
beer here.
It's really smooth.
The aroma, I don't get.
It's overwhelming.
Yeah, I don't get any hops off of it.
Really good.
I think the aroma is a lot more sweeter than the actual taste.
It does. It smells really sweet, almost like a honey from an orange field or something like that.
It smells like the flesh, but it tastes like the peel.
Yeah.
I
Like.
want to say it's kind of like a lighter version of like a creamsicle.
I haven't tasted it yet, but it's just like all peel up the front. There's no hops.
Taste it, Kevin. Tell me that's not a creamsicle.
Well, hold on.
Put it in your mouth.
I gotta go
Put it in
through
your
the
mouth.
process.
I would say mead.
Wow. Whoa.
That just blew his mind. His mind just blew on live TV.
Has he not tried it yet?
That's really creamy.
It's a creamsicle.
I might give you that. There's a lot of citrus in there, and a lot of orange, a lot of blood orange.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I found a new like all-time favorite beer.
Wow.
Wouldn't you argue that it's seasonal though? Like it being like a real heavy citrus IPA when you argue like.
But it's from Southern California. Is there a seasonal there?
It gets rainy.
I've only been there a handful of times.
Like
But
one.
judging by Nick's haircut and tank top, I'm sure.
Grant and I have actually been to this brewery.
Yeah. They
So
do not
is it-
have enough seating there, I will say that.
Yeah.
This is really crazy. Actually, I'm
I'm actually like blown away. Like I'm
I
excited
am
to
too.
have more of this beer.
Yeah, I really am too.
I hate to
Like for being I live in Bend where IPAs are hops and
More hops. And hops.
more hops, and you don't get the diverse flavors. You don't get the diverse experiments, and this has probably saved SoCal beer for me.
All right.
I can't believe how it's not like a shandy kind of thing, but it's got the flavor, all the fruity flavor from it.
Kevin's just out of sorts right now.
I am. I can't believe it.
I don't know.
And it's 7% alcohol too,
You don't taste the alcohol.
and you don't get like bitter from the hops.
This is
What kind of hops is in
Very
this?
talented.
Kevin, can I get the stats on this again?
Yeah, so it's 7.2 alcohol by volume. I think it's 61 IBU. So kind of on the lower end for an IPA, but I mean, it's got the hoppy bitter. But
you kind of get it, like, if you don't drink it for about 2 minutes, you kind of get that back end hoppy taste. But when you're drinking it, there's zero bitterness.
Yeah, there's really not like a hoppy bitterness. You really get the citrus, right? The whole thing is just citrus to me.
I
will
definitely
agree.
I definitely feel like this is one of their flagship beers.
Yeah, I can see that. Reading on the, I think on the website it says here that the tropical bitterness provides a perfect balance and a sweet finish. And honestly, tropical bitterness is really a great way to describe the bitterness that you get from this, because it's not like an orange bitter. It's not a hoppy bitter. It's definitely a lot different.
Okay. Blood orange.
It's really good.
Gotta find a place to buy it.
I like CJ's idea. I think you just need to change your.
It's a breakfast beer. Some bacon.
Oh, that sounds so good right now.
That actually pairs very well.
So Kevin, the hops are
This is
Northern
that
Brewer,
mimosa
Nelson,
in the
and
morning.
Citra.
So you said Northern Brewer Nelson
And Citra.
I love brewing with Citra, especially with an
Citras
IPA.
are awesome. I
great.
like it too. I mean,
Yeah, no,
all right. So
it's really good. Let's go around and Grant, where would you drink this beer at?
Let me get one more taste. This is kind of one I would just drink on my back porch. Sitting in the backyard, it's nice out. In the evening, sun setting. Cooling down. It's perfect beer to drink then. Oh, there's one of my hats. I gotta bring them in.
all right.
There isn't one episode that we don't have a cat.
What?
So I'm gonna just jump in and say I'm gonna go with Nick. Don't get awkward here. I'm gonna go with another childhood memory, and I'm gonna say that they need to rename this to the Rancho Bernardo, because my grandma had a orange tree in her backyard that we used to go and pick when I was down there, and it tasted just like this and always smelled just like this. I'm going to go childhood memory on this and say it needs to be the Latitude 33 Brewing Rancho Bernardo. And it sticks with the San Diego County theme, so boom. Mind blown. All right, Kev, what are we drinking this with?
So originally I had a different pairing with this, but I'm actually going to change it on the fly just because of the flavor profile here. I think this needs something really meaty with it, something that's going to give you a lot of umami right up front. And so I would go with some sort of Asian style short rib. I think the meaty from that and the kind of ginger green onion with the with soy sauce in the Asian part
Hey,
of
Kevin.
Kind of a spicy.
What do you think? Sweet on sweet?
I'm so hungry right now.
it.
So good.
I don't know if it would be sweet. It would be so savory with soy sauce and the meat that I don't think you get sweet on sweet. I would think you would get sweet from the beer, and that would actually carry over quite well.
So you're going with one of those another pair, like a like pairing rather than a contrasting pairing.
Yeah, this isn't quite contrast. Again, this is definitely, I wouldn't say like for like, but definitely
A good transition point.
Yeah, it is. And the salty from the soy would be a very complimentary of the sweet from the beer.
You can go to blab.im / is that the right word? Or
/ That's a /
/ Buds&Suds. And you can watch us live.
Yeah, check it out.
I don't know about you guys, but
Whatever.
Hey, will you get Hannah again?
no, he went away.
What's that dog doing there, Nick?
Well, there's only one dog down here now, and he's over there. Tyson!
He likes you. Does anybody have anything that they want to... Or I guess we can go to Nick, and Nick, you can tell us what your spirit animal is?
Do I have to do this every time?
Yeah, I think you're going to have to.
So,
It's your punishment.
It's why I watch.
Animal for the Blood Orange IPA, which one of my favorite beers. So obviously put a lot of heart into
Thinking about drawing this certain thing.
the art for
Without talking about it?
I already drew it.
Then show it.
I don't have it.
Prove it!
It's not in my home. So
You're not?
you're gonna have to go over to Instagram and
Before we move on to the next beer, I just want to say that they really committed here with this bottle cap.
I see that.
That's pretty sweet. All right, so
Hey, Nick, I want to give a shout out to Nick on this week's beer selection because that's a pretty solid comeback from my shit show last week.
next up and finally tonight, we are doing the Marshmallow Stout from Garage Brewing Company in Temecula, California. It is a sweet stout or milk stout, 7.1% ABV, 9 IBU. So we're dropping a little bit from the last one. Born and probably started bottling in 2015. Again, I don't know the original gravity on this one, but we're going to taste it anyways, and we're going to find out what it's like.
So I'm going
Caramelized
to
sugar.
flat out say it smells like a roasting marshmallow
yeah.
on a campfire.
Did you read the description on the
Lucky
bottle?
Charms ass.
Dark stout
No, I didn't.
characteristics with marshmallow aroma and sweet finish.
Close your eyes. You'll picture yourself nestled around a campfire.
Wow.
So I will give a shout out to Garage Brewing. They did throw out some characteristics on the side. I'll read them out. Flavor is roasty and smooth. The aroma is light vanilla, which I get a lot of. I mean, it smells like cooking vanilla.
Yeah. Extra.
Balance is dark malts, which, I mean, you can kind of just tell there's no light penetration, really dark beer. And a medium body with a touch of sweetness. It does contain lactose. So they definitely do throw some cream in on that.
That's very common in a milk stout.
Weird.
With the milk stout, because lactose isn't fermentable by yeast, so it gives it a very creamy body.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
good to know.
Oh.
Is that on every
So
milk
the
stout?
creamy body is actually from the lactose.
Wow.
That's why they put it in the milk stout to make it like more
Ooh.
milky.
Did you
So then
see?
it's creamy.
Did you see CJ?
This smells like a toasted marshmallow. The look of it, it's not. I mean, it's pitch black again, just like the Serpent Stout. The head does not exist near as much. It's not like I said on the Serpent, it's not a mocha. This isn't a mocha. This is more of a dirty cream, I would say.
Smells like soda.
It's
What, Russell? Keep talking.
it's very sugary with the aroma, kind of a powdered sugar aroma.
Marshmallow stout.
If you breathe in really deep, you get marshmallow out of it.
No,
It doesn't have the head the other one did, though. The
It really
carbonation is
doesn't.
different.
It dissipates very quickly.
Here.
What?
Here.
What?
Ours is named Gaffy.
Oh, God.
Hey, Gaffy.
Stop stroking
Don't
your
say
graph. Nick, you said earlier I'd be impressed, like, I'd be more overwhelmed by the blood orange. This is sweeter to me. I mean, the blood orange didn't have the powder sugary notes that this one does. It hits a little bit harder with the sugar. I mean, obviously it's going to because it's a marshmallow stout. I mean, it's supposed to, but it's one of those beers that it'd be fun to drink with pairings. I mean, where you can enhance the sweetness or bring down the sweetness of certain things. But
So it's the same thing.
I think it'd
It's
be
the
good.
same thing you drink for dessert instead of like a cappuccino or something or a coffee at the end.
Yeah, I agree, Grant.
I think it'd be good as like an ice
Chocolate
cream,
cake or something.
Yeah, but you really want to pair it with something so sweet?
some vanilla ice cream. I think would be good.
You could probably float it with some vanilla. That would be really good.
I think so.
I'm pretty impressed by the malty characteristics. It's actually very rich malty. My guess is the original gravity is probably starting out somewhere around the same as the Serpent Stout, somewhere around the 1.077 range. And then instead of actually going down a lot lower, they're keeping a little bit more body, a little bit more sweetness out of it. So I think they did a really good job of keeping that marshmallow flavor. I don't know how they got it or what they did, but
I like it. I like the fact
all the way through from scent to first taste. Like that's hollow.
yeah,
and I feel like you can, because especially with, like milk stouts, like something like if you were to hear like marshmallow milk stout, you would think like a pint of this, you would be done. Like it'd be too
Rich.
sweet, like too much. But I think they did well. Like it did a good combo with the malt.
yeah.
The malt. Alcohol.
I agree with you, Nick. I think the sweetness from the malt isn't overpowering. It's not too sweet. It balances out with a kind of a complex, dark, malty characteristic that kind of keeps it a little bit dry, even though it's only 7.1, 7.2%, or 7.1. Yeah, I think they did a really good job balancing that alcohol dryness with the sweetness from the malt.
Yeah.
It definitely does leave you dry. I mean, it's like tasting a solid, like dry red wine, where you're kind of like suckling for some salivary glands to kick in, and
no, definitely. But it's not like off-putting dry. It's definitely
sorry.
It only kicks in until later. Kind of the late aftertaste is dry, but otherwise it's sweet and smooth right up front.
You don't realize it until you don't drink it for a while, and then you drink it, and you're like, oh, this is really refreshing. Oh, wait, never mind.
I agree. It's heavy, too. It's definitely a full body.
And
and
very creamy.
I would love to see this with a little bit more head on it, to get that foamy head when you get a sip of that, if that kind of blows up kind of the more marshmallow flavor in your mouth, and see what happens.
Or on
I think the
nitro. I think
aroma
on nitro.
eventually really makes it a lot sweeter.
Yeah.
And then
I think on nitro, throwing in some creaminess with this, I think you're going to be killing. I honestly, my favorite dark beer on nitro is Shake, just because of what it does.
Yeah.
I mean, this could throw a wrench in my plans for world domination.
I would love to see what this does on nitro. This would probably be pretty creative.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. I think this would be pretty amazing.
Yeah. Because the bubbles, I realize why the bottle is so tight. Because the carbonation's gone out of my glass. I'm now drinking flat beer. And it's been 15, 20 minutes. And now I need to realize what I'm going to do next is pour another beer, and hopefully it's not as flat. But I think on nitro, if you had a snifter of this, I think it'd be probably one of the best beers.
Yeah. This brewery has a couple really good beers. I would say this is one of my favorite breweries in Southern California.
Really?
They make a mango Hefeweizen. It's one of the better hefts that I've ever had, and it's won the silver and the gold medal in beer. What is that? The beer like international
Olympics?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they also have a Hatch Chili IPA. That one's silver.
Is he getting paid royalties on the amount of time he talks at this brewery?
I think he is.
It's like a really like tiny brewery. Actually, Latitude is smaller than Garage Brewing.
That's so good.
It's smooth to the last drop. I mean, it's been sitting in my hand. It's warming up. It's changing complexities. It's changing flavors because of the room temperatureness of it now. And it's getting better with drinks because it's
Garage Brewing started. It says established in the fall of 2013. After a year and a half of planning and construction, it started in an 8-bay garage. And back then, when they started, Temecula had 15,000 residents. Today, it's over 105,000.
That's awesome.
So they really grew up with the town. Yeah, no, they started from the bottom. Now they're here.
Yeah, Kevin, what do you want to pair this beer with?
All right, so with this beer, the easy way out, I would say, would be to pair it with a s'mores. But I'm not gonna go there. We're not gonna go there. I think it's a great one if you're camping, but I think you got to contrast this with some salty and savory, and hit you with some thick cut bacon. Just thick cut slices of bacon. It'll even out the marshmallow. You'll get sweet and savory. You'll be well on your way.
I love
Beautiful.
Grant, where would you drink this at?
I love bacon.
This would be, honestly, Kevin, we're kind of on the same line. This is kind of, say you've got a college football game you're attending. Maybe it's around 2 o'clock p.m., so you show up about 9 o'clock to set the tailgate. You got that bacon cooking. You need an early morning. You don't really don't want a Bloody Mary or a red one. You want some.
You want to do it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think early morning tailgate.
Okay.
All right. It's a pretty thick beer for being.
Yeah.
For your first beer of the day.
Guys, it's still chilly out. It's the fall.
This is a really good winter beer.
All right.
Go, beef.
I'm at least talking up in the northwest, not down in San Diego. I don't know. It can get chilly down there though too. What do you got for a second name, Peter?
I'm trying to get as far away from Marshmallow as I can, but I'm going to stick with the Marshmallow theme. I'm going to go with the Flaming Marshmallow.
Ooh.
Because it reminds me more. It's not like a lightly browned marshmallow that you like rotated over a campfire that you do professionally. It's one of those ones that catch on fire that you like swing about and it might hit somebody in the eye, and you might get in trouble with. So I'm gonna go with the Flaming Marshmallow.
I like that. I think the bitterness too kind of adds to that on fireness. I like it. I agree with you.
All right, guys. Now down to the final minutes of the show. It's the longest episode in about 2 months. And I'm going to have to say that we need to start reviewing beers. So,
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Grant.
Oh, God.
On the Lost Abbey, what do you give it?
Okay, let me think back real quick. That was a very, as far as color goes, very thick beer. But it actually didn't, the texture wasn't as thick as you would expect looking at the beer. It did have some complex flavors. It was very good. Couldn't drink the whole bottle though.
All right.
Out of 5 pints, I'm going to give it 4.
You're going to give it 4. Okay. I think that's it.
I really liked the beer. It was a very good beer. It's just that whole bottle, I just don't think I really did like it. Nick, what about you?
I'll do a 4.25. Same idea. I like the beer. I like the fact that it doesn't taste like 11%. But just 4.25.
I think that's great. What about you, Peter?
Lost Abbey, I'm gonna have to say that it's if in smaller quantities. I mean, a 22 is a little heavy for me, but in smaller quantities, I would give it a 4.5. I mean, for what it is, it's a solid stout that has a really distinct flavor. So I'm gonna say 4.5.
And I'm actually going to agree with you, Peter. I think if you had the 375 milliliters that they produce rather than the 750, I think this would be a lot more comfortable to drink. I think it's very complex, very malty, very forward. Just a really great beer. So I'm going to have to give it a 4.5 on that one. I think it's an excellent beer.
Yeah.
Great. Hey, what about our guest, John?
John, what do you think?
On the Lost Abbey out of 5 pints, I would probably
You can go down to the quarter.
towards the 4 to the 4.25.
Give it.
You're going to have to pick one.
Oh, I have to pick one? I will go with the 4 then. I'm going to be honest. Like, I wasn't the hugest fan of it. Kind of that bitterness is not what I was looking for out of kind of a sweeter one. Like
right.
All those chocolate notes, like I was kind of going for, not necessarily a super sweet beer, but I personally was tasting more of a sour bitterness to it. I felt was a little much.
I get it. That makes sense.
Cool.
So let's talk about the blood orange. Peter, what are you going to go with there?
I'm so torn emotionally and physically and mentally because I don't want to give Nick the satisfaction of this answer.
Yeah, you do.
I'm going to have to say the next time I'm down in San Diego that we have to go to 33 Latitude because I'm going to give this a...
Did we see our first 5? Are we going 5?
That a hard F?
I'm going to say 5.
Whoa!
I'm going to say 5. It's stepped up to the plate with the big time home run, and it hit a grand slam. It had flavor, it had note, it had consistency, it had head, it had texture. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't want to give San Diego this credit, but it really did it for me. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Fine, it's a great.
No, it's great. That's awesome. Nick, what about you?
I'll give it a 5.
Oh, of course you would. Not surprised.
Yeah, no.
Grant,
I mean, I'm giving it like a 1 point boost because it's like only
Latitude
30 miles from my house. But
Nick, don't make me kick you.
Very good beer. I'm going to give it a 4.5.
hey guys, sorry about that last episode. Something happened there and we ended up cutting it off early. Just so you guys know, we ended up going through and Grant did give the Blood Orange IPA a 4.5 out of 5 pints, and I ended up giving it a 3.75 out of 5 pints, which was quite controversial at the time. I just didn't feel like it was IPA enough for me. I wanted more hop from it and less orange citrus. So that was really the issue for me. We then moved on to Marshmallow Stout, which got good marks in itself. I gave it 4.25 pints out of 5. Peter gave it 4.25 pints out of 5. Grant went a little lower with 3.75 out of 5, and then Nick followed that up with another 4.25 out of 5. So overall, the Serpent Stout was about a 4.3 for us. The Blood Orange came out to 4.56, with Peter and Nick both giving it 5 out of 5, and then the Marshmallow Stout ended up at 4.13. Thanks for watching, guys. We're sorry again for the inconvenience with the issue. Make sure to follow us on all our social media. You can find us at Twitter and Instagram, specifically at _Buds&Suds. You can also email us at budsandsuds2016 at gmail.com. So we love hearing from you, so go ahead and do that. And thanks for watching.